Welcome to Speak English Confident. I'm really happy you're here today. Today, we're going to talk about something many English learners feel, but don't always say out loud. That feeling when you are in a conversation and people don't really listen to you. Or maybe they talk over you. Or they don't respond to what you said. And slowly, you start to feel invisible.
Yeah, that word, invisible. That's exactly how it feels sometimes. I've had moments where I say something in English and then no one reacts. And I just sit there thinking, did they not hear me? Or did I say it wrong?
That question, did I say it wrong? It can stay in your mind for a long time, and it can slowly hurt your confidence. But today, we're going to understand this situation better. And more importantly, we're going to learn how to respond to it. Not with fear, but with calm confidence.
I really need that. Because sometimes I just stop talking completely. I feel like, what's the point?
That reaction is very natural. But let me tell you something important. Being ignored in a conversation does not always mean your English is bad.
Wait, really?
Yes, there are many reasons this can happen. Let's explore a real-life situation together. Imagine this. You're sitting with a group of people, maybe at work, maybe in a class, or even at a small gathering. People are talking quickly. They are laughing. They are sharing stories. You listen carefully, you understand most of it, and then you see a moment. You think, okay, now I will speak.
Yes, I know that moment. You wait for a small pause.
Exactly. You take a breath and you say something simple, like, I watched that movie too, or I had a similar experience.
Yeah, that's what I usually say. Simple sentences.
And then no one responds, or someone quickly changes the topic, or someone else starts talking, louder.
Yes, that hurts a little.
It does. And your brain starts thinking fast. Maybe my pronunciation was wrong. Maybe they didn't understand me. Maybe my sentence was too simple.
Exactly. All of that. And then I just stay quiet.
Let's pause there for a moment. I want you to notice something. The problem is not always your English. Sometimes it's the nature of group conversations.
What do you mean?
In group conversations, especially fast ones, people often don't listen carefully. They are thinking about what they want to say next. They are excited. They are reacting quickly. And sometimes they miss things, even when a native speaker talks.
Oh, so it's not only happening to learners?
Not at all. Even native speakers get ignored sometimes. It's part of how human conversations work.
That actually makes me feel a little better.
Good, because I want you to stop blaming yourself immediately. Now, let's look at another situation. This one is very common at work. You are in a meeting. People are sharing ideas. You prepare something in your mind. You think about your sentence carefully, and when you finally speak, someone interrupts you.
Yes, that happens a lot.
And when that happens, what do you usually do?
I stop talking. I think maybe my idea is not important.
That's a very emotional moment because it's not just about English anymore. It becomes about your value, your voice.
Yeah, it feels personal.
But here's something important to understand. Interrupting is often not about you. It's about the other person. Maybe they are excited. Maybe they are used to speaking quickly. Maybe they don't even realize they interrupted you.
So what should I do in that moment?
We'll practice that soon. But first, I want to give you a simple sentence, a very powerful sentence, something you can use when you feel ignored or interrupted. Are you ready?
Yes.
You can say, sorry, I'd like to finish my thought.
Sorry, I'd like to finish my thought. That sounds polite, but also strong.
Exactly. Let's break it down. Sorry, this keeps your tone polite. I'd like, this is soft, not aggressive. To finish my thought, this clearly says what you want.
I like that. It doesn't sound angry.
Yes, that's very important. You don't need to fight to be heard. You just need to gently hold your space.
Hold your space. I like that phrase.
Let's practice together. I'll say a situation. You respond using the sentence.
Okay?
You start talking. Someone interrupts you.
Sorry, I'd like to finish my thought.
Good. Now say it with a calm voice.
Sorry, I'd like to finish my thought.
That's perfect. Now let's try another situation. You say something, but no one reacts. There is silence. What can you do?
I don't know.
You can gently bring attention back to your idea. For example, so what I mean is, or I think it's interesting because,
Oh, so I continue speaking?
yes, sometimes you need to guide people to listen, not aggressively, just clearly.
That feels a bit scary, but also powerful.
It will feel scary at first, but confidence grows with small actions. Let's try a short role play. I'll be part of a group conversation. You try to join. Ready?
Okay, I'll try.
We're talking about travel. I love going to the beach. It's so relaxing.
I also like the beach.
Oh, really? I prefer the mountains.
No one said anything.
Yes, that's the moment. Now try again, but this time continue.
I also like the beach. I think it's relaxing because the sound of the waves helps me feel calm.
Oh, that's true. The sound is really nice.
Oh, it worked.
Yes, it worked. Because you added more. You gave people something to connect with.
So just saying one simple sentence is sometimes not enough?
Exactly. Short sentences can disappear in fast conversations, but when you add a little more detail, people have something to connect with.
That makes a lot of sense.
Let's try one more. I'll start again. I went to Japan last year. It was amazing.
I want to go to Japan.
I think they didn't hear me.
Okay, I'll try again. I want to go to Japan. I really like the culture and I want to try the food there.
Oh, yes, the food is incredible.
That feels much better.
Do you see the difference?
Yes. Before, I just said one simple sentence. Now I added feeling and detail.
Exactly. And that's one key idea today. When you feel invisible, don't disappear more. Add a little more of your voice.
That's a powerful idea.
It is. And remember, confidence in speaking English is not about perfect grammar. It's about connection. It's about expressing something real.
I think I was always trying to be perfect, and that made me speak less.
That's very common. But today, we are changing that. Step by step. You don't need perfect English to be heard. You need clear intention and a little courage.
I like that.
Let's take a small pause here. Just breathe for a moment. Imagine yourself in a conversation. You are calm, you are present, and when you speak, you give your idea a little more space. Not rushing, not hiding, just expressing.
That feels different. In a good way.
Good, because this is the beginning of a new habit. Not silence, but gentle confidence. And we're just getting started.
I'm thinking about something you said earlier. Don't disappear more. That really stayed in my mind, because when I feel ignored, my natural reaction is to become quieter.
Yes, that's a very human reaction. When something feels uncomfortable, we try to protect ourselves. We step back. We speak less. We avoid attention.
Exactly. It feels safer.
It feels safer in the moment, But in the long term, it creates a new problem.
Which is...
You slowly train yourself to believe my voice is not important.
Yeah, that's true.
And the more you believe that, the harder it becomes to speak next time.
So it becomes a cycle.
Exactly. You speak, you feel ignored, you speak less, you lose confidence. Next time, you speak even less.
That cycle sounds very familiar.
Today, we're going to gently break that cycle, not with big changes, but with small, practical steps.
I like that. Big changes feel scary.
Yes, so we'll keep it simple. Let's go back to a real-life situation. You're in a group conversation again, but this time you want to join more naturally, not just one sentence, but a real connection.
Okay, I'm ready.
Imagine people are talking about food. Someone says, I tried a new restaurant yesterday. The pasta was amazing.
Okay.
What would you say?
I like pasta too.
That's a good start, but let's grow it a little, because I like pasta too is correct, but it's very short, and short sentences can disappear.
Yeah, I see that now.
Let's expand it. Try this. I like pasta too. I usually cook it at home, especially on weekends.
Oh, that sounds more natural.
Yes, and now people have something to respond to. They can ask, oh, really? What kind of pasta? Or do you cook often?
So the goal is give more hooks for conversation?
Exactly. A hook is something that invites a response.
I like that word, hook.
Let's practice more. I'll give you short sentences. You expand them. Ready?
Ready.
I like coffee.
I like coffee. I drink it every morning before work.
Very nice. Now add a feeling.
I like coffee. I drink it every morning before work, and it helps me feel awake and ready.
Perfect. Do you feel the difference?
Yes, it feels more alive.
Exactly. Now try another. I watched a movie.
I watched a movie last night. It was really interesting, and I enjoyed the story.
That's great. Now let's make it more personal.
I watched a movie last night. It was really interesting, and I enjoyed the story because it was emotional.
Beautiful. You're not just speaking English, you're sharing yourself.
That feels different.
Yes, and when you share more of yourself, people naturally listen more.
So it's not just about language, it's about connection again.
Exactly. Now let's talk about another situation. This one is very common. You want to join a conversation, but you don't know when to speak.
Oh yes, timing is hard. Sometimes I feel like if I speak, I might interrupt.
That's a very thoughtful concern, and it shows you are a polite communicator.
Maybe just a nervous one.
Maybe both, but let's give you a simple tool. You can use small phrases to enter a conversation. For example, can I add something? Or can I share something?
Oh, that sounds polite.
Yes, and it signals clearly that you want to speak. Let's practice. I'll create a conversation. I think working from home is better.
Can I add something?
Yes, sure.
I think working from home is good, but sometimes I feel lonely.
That's excellent. Very clear, very natural.
So that feels much easier than just jumping in.
Exactly. You don't need to fight for space. You can gently ask for it.
I like that idea.
Now let's talk about something emotional. Sometimes the reason we feel ignored is not only the situation, it's also what we believe inside.
What do you mean?
Sometimes we enter a conversation thinking, my English is not good enough. People won't understand me. I might sound stupid.
Yeah, I've thought all of those things.
And when you carry those thoughts, your voice becomes smaller. Your energy changes.
That's true. I speak more softly. I hesitate more.
Exactly. And people may respond to that energy, not your words.
Wow.
I never thought about that.
So let's change something simple. Before you speak, tell yourself one small sentence.
What sentence?
Tell yourself, my voice matters.
My voice matters.
Again,
My voice matters.
say it like you believe it.
My voice matters.
Good. This is not about being perfect, it's about giving yourself permission to speak.
That feels powerful.
Now let's combine everything we've learned. We'll do a longer role play. You are in a group discussion about hobbies. I'll be another person. Ready?
Ready.
I love painting. It helps me relax.
Can I add something?
Of course.
I like painting too. I usually do it on weekends, and it helps me feel calm after a busy week.
That's nice. What do you like to paint?
I like to paint nature, especially trees and mountains.
That sounds beautiful.
That felt like a real conversation.
Because it is. You entered clearly, you added detail, you shared feeling. That's communication.
I'm starting to see a pattern.
What do you notice?
It's not about saying something perfect. It's about saying something complete.
That's a beautiful way to say it. Yes, complete thoughts create connection.
I like that.
Let's take it one step deeper. Sometimes, even after you try all of this, you may still feel ignored.
Yeah, that can still happen, right?
Yes, and in that moment, you need emotional strength, not just language.
What should I do then?
First, don't panic. Silence does not mean failure.
That's important.
Second, give yourself one more chance. You can say, let me explain a bit more.
Oh, I like that.
It's simple, but it gives you space again.
Let me try. Let me explain a bit more. I think this idea is important because it can help us save time.
That's excellent.
I feel like I'm learning how to stay in the conversation instead of leaving it.
That's exactly what you're doing. You're staying present. You're not disappearing.
I like that image.
Good, because language learning is not just about words. It's about presence. It's about being there fully.
I think before I was always half there, half listening, half worrying.
That's very honest and very common, but now you're learning a new way.
A calmer way.
Yeah, I feel it. Now let's take one more small practice. This time, no pressure. Just imagine. You are with people. They are talking. You feel a little nervous, but you also feel ready. You take a breath and you say something. Not perfect, not long, but real.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
And this time, you don't disappear. You stay. You continue. You connect.
That feels possible now.
Good, because it is possible, and you're already doing it, step by step.
There's something I want to ask. What if I try all of this, but inside I still feel nervous? Like, even if I know what to say, my heart is beating fast.
That's a very important question, because confidence is not the absence of nervousness.
What does that mean?
It means you can feel nervous and still speak.
That sounds difficult.
It can feel difficult at first, but let me show you something simple. When you feel nervous in a conversation, your body reacts. Your heart beats faster, your breathing becomes shallow, your mind starts moving quickly.
Yes, exactly.
So before we focus on words, we can calm the body first
How?
through something very simple, breathing.
Just breathing?
Yes. Try this with me. Take a slow breath in and then slowly breathe out.
Okay.
Again, slow breath in and slow breath out.
That already feels better.
Because your body is relaxing. And when your body is calm, your voice becomes more stable.
So this is something I can do before speaking?
Exactly. Even one slow breath can help. Now, let's connect this to speaking. Imagine you're in a conversation. You feel nervous. Before you speak, you take a small breath. Then you start.
That feels more controlled.
Yes. Now let's talk about another challenge. Sometimes you start speaking, but you lose your words.
Oh, yes, that happens a lot. I start a sentence and then my mind goes blank.
That moment can feel very uncomfortable. But here's something important. You don't need to stop completely.
Really?
Yes, you can use bridge phrases.
What are those?
They are small phrases that give you time to think. For example, let me think, or how can I say this? Or what I mean is,
Oh, I've heard those before.
yes, native speakers use them all the time. They don't always speak perfectly and quickly. They pause, they think, they continue.
That makes me feel less pressure.
Good. Let's practice. You start a sentence and then you feel stuck. Try to continue using a bridge phrase.
Okay. I think this idea is... let me think. I think it's useful because it can save time.
That was excellent.
It felt natural.
Because it is natural. Now let's talk about another situation. Sometimes people speak very fast.
Yes, too fast.
And when that happens, you may feel lost.
Exactly. I understand maybe 70%, but I'm not sure.
And then you stop speaking.
Yes.
Let's change that. You don't need to understand everything perfectly. You just need enough to respond.
But what if I miss something important?
Then you can ask. Simple.
Ask what?
For example, sorry, can you say that again? Or, do you mean...
Oh, that's simple.
Yes, let's practice. I'll say something quickly. You know, I was thinking about going somewhere different this weekend, maybe like a small town outside the city, just to relax.
That's fast.
Now respond.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Good. Now try another.
Do you mean you want to travel this weekend?
Perfect. You're checking understanding.
That feels more active.
Exactly. You're not just listening, you're participating.
I think before I was waiting to understand everything.
And that can create pressure. Instead, focus on connection.
Connection again.
Yes, it's always connection. Now let's explore a deeper emotional moment. Sometimes you are in a conversation and people are laughing, but you don't understand the joke.
Yeah, that feels uncomfortable. I just smile, but inside I feel left out.
That feeling is very real, and many learners experience it. But here's something important. You don't need to pretend.
Really?
Yes, you can be honest in a simple way.
Like what?
You can say, I didn't catch that, but it sounds funny.
Oh, that's nice.
It's light, it's honest, and it keeps you in the moment.
Instead of feeling outside.
Exactly. Let's practice. I'll tell a joke quickly. And then he said, well, that's not my problem.
I didn't catch that, but it sounds funny.
Perfect. Now imagine someone explains it to you. You can respond, oh, now I get it.
That feels natural.
Yes, you are allowed to not understand everything. What matters is you stay connected.
I'm starting to feel less pressure.
Good, because pressure blocks communication. Now let's go into a deeper role play. This time it will be more emotional. You're in a group. People are talking confidently. You feel a little nervous, but you want to join. Ready?
Okay, I'll try.
I think learning new skills is very important these days.
Can I share something?
Yes, go ahead.
I think learning new skills is important too. Let me think. I feel like it helps us grow and have more opportunities.
That's true. What kind of skills do you want to learn?
I want to learn communication skills, especially speaking English, because sometimes I feel nervous in conversations.
That's very honest. I think many people feel the same
That felt real.
because you shared something honest, and honesty creates connection faster than perfect English.
I think I'm starting to understand something.
What do you feel?
I don't need to sound like a native speaker. I just need to be clear and real.
That's exactly it. Now let's take it one step further. Sometimes you may feel ignored not because of language, but because you speak too softly.
That might be me.
Let's try something simple. Say this sentence: I think this is a good idea.
I think this is a good idea.
Now say it again a little stronger.
I think this is a good idea.
Do you hear the difference?
Yes, it sounds more confident.
Exactly. Confidence is not just words, it's also your voice.
So I need to practice speaking a little louder?
Not louder, just clearer and more present.
I understand.
Let's try one more time. Add feeling.
I think this is a good idea.
Beautiful. That voice is easier to hear and easier to respond to.
I feel like I'm learning a lot, not just about English.
Because speaking a language is also about expressing yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your presence.
Yeah, I feel more present now.
Good. Stay with that feeling, because this is how confidence grows, not in big moments, but in small, real ones, and you are already building it.
I've been thinking about something. Before, when I felt ignored, I thought the problem was always my English. But now, I'm starting to see it differently.
That's a very important shift. What do you see now?
I think sometimes it's the situation, sometimes it's my habits, and sometimes it's just normal conversation.
That's a very clear understanding. And when you see the situation clearly, you can respond more calmly.
Yeah, I don't feel as emotional as before.
That's the goal. Not to remove emotion, but to not be controlled by it.
I like that.
Now, let's go deeper into real life practice, because understanding is good, but practice is what creates change.
Okay, I'm ready.
This time, we'll practice a longer conversation, a more realistic one. You'll experience different moments: joining, being interrupted, pausing, continuing.
That sounds like real life.
Exactly. Let's begin. You're at a small group discussion about work-life balance. I'll start. Lately, I feel like I'm working too much and I don't have enough time to relax.
Can I add something?
Yes, of course.
I feel the same sometimes. I work a lot during the week, and by the weekend, I feel very tired.
That's true. It's hard to find balance.
I think it's important to take breaks, even small ones, during the day.
Yes, and also exercise is very important.
Sorry, I'd like to finish my thought.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. I think small breaks can help us feel more relaxed and focused.
That's a really good point.
Wow, I didn't stop.
You didn't. You stayed in the conversation.
And it didn't feel rude.
Because you were calm and respectful. In general, confidence doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be steady.
I like that. Steady confidence.
Let's continue. Now someone speaks very fast. I've been trying to wake up earlier, do some meditation, maybe go for a run, but honestly, I can't keep the routine.
Let me think. Do you mean it's hard for you to stay consistent?
Yes, exactly.
I understand that. I tried to wake up early too, but I found it difficult after a few days.
That's so true.
This feels like a real conversation now.
Because you are reacting naturally. You're not trying to be perfect, you're trying to connect.
Yeah, I'm not overthinking every word.
That's a big step. Now let's introduce another moment. Silence. You say something and no one responds immediately. Let's try. I think taking short breaks during work is helpful. Silence.
So what I mean is, Even 5 minutes can help your mind rest.
Oh, yes, that's true, especially during long work hours.
That worked again.
Yes, you didn't stop at silence. You continued.
I think before, silence felt like rejection.
That's very honest, but now you see it differently.
Yeah, now it feels like just a pause.
Exactly, and a pause is not the end of your voice.
I like that sentence.
Now let's talk about another situation. Sometimes you are speaking and you make a mistake.
Oh, that's scary.
Yes, maybe you use the wrong word or your grammar is not correct and you notice it immediately.
Yeah, and then I panic.
But here's something important. You don't need to stop everything. You can correct yourself simply.
How?
For example, I go to the meeting yesterday. Sorry, I went to the meeting yesterday.
Oh, just correct and continue?
Exactly. No long explanation, no apology again and again. Just correct and move on.
That feels much easier.
Let's practice. Say a sentence and then correct it.
I ate dinner at 8 yesterday. Sorry, I ate dinner at 8 yesterday.
Perfect. Very natural.
I didn't feel embarrassed.
Because you didn't make it a big problem. In general, mistakes are normal, but your reaction to the mistake, that's what shapes your confidence.
That's true. Before, I would stop and feel bad.
And now?
Now I just continue.
That's growth. Now let's bring everything together again. We'll do one more extended role play. This time, you will handle multiple situations naturally. Ready?
Ready.
We should plan a trip together sometime.
That's a great idea. I really enjoy traveling, especially to quiet places.
Me too. I love nature.
Can I share something?
Of course.
I went to a small village last year. Let me think. It was very peaceful, and I felt really relaxed there.
That sounds amazing.
Yes, it was. Oh, sorry, it is a place I would love to visit again.
That's nice. I'd like to go somewhere like that too.
Maybe we can plan something similar in the future.
I'd love that.
That felt smooth.
Because you used everything naturally. You paused, you corrected yourself, you added detail, you stayed present.
Yeah, I didn't try to be perfect.
And that's why it worked. In general, perfection creates pressure. Presence creates connection.
I think I'm finally understanding that.
Good, because this understanding will stay with you in real conversations.
I feel more ready now.
And that's a beautiful place to be. Not perfect, but ready.
Yes, ready.
Let's take a small moment again. Just breathe. Feel your voice. Feel your presence. You are not invisible.
Yeah, I feel that.
And when you speak, you don't need to fight for being heard. You just need to stay. Stay with the conversation. Stay with your words. Stay with yourself.
That feels strong but calm.
Exactly. That's real confidence.
I keep thinking about that sentence. Stay in the conversation. It sounds simple, but it changes everything.
It really does. Because most of the time, the problem is not that you can't speak. It's that you leave too early.
Yeah, I used to leave, even when I was still sitting there.
That's a powerful realization. Your body stays, but your voice disappears.
Exactly. But now I feel like I have tools. Simple ones, but real.
That's what matters. Not complicated grammar, not perfect sentences, simple tools that help you stay.
Can we review them one more time?
Of course, but not like a list. Let's remember them through a moment. Imagine this. You walk into a conversation, people are talking, you feel a little nervous, but not overwhelmed.
Okay, I can imagine that.
You listen, you understand enough, not everything, but enough. And then you see a moment to speak.
That moment always feels important.
Yes, and this time you don't rush. You take a small breath
Yeah.
and you begin. Not with a perfect sentence, but with a complete thought.
Like, I think this is interesting because...
Exactly. And if someone interrupts you,
Sorry, I'd like to finish my thought.
good. And if your mind goes blank,
Let me think. What I mean is...
perfect. And if people don't respond immediately,
So, what I mean is... And I continue.
yes. And if you don't understand something,
Sorry, can you say that again? Or do you mean...
exactly. And if you make a mistake,
I correct it and continue?
beautiful. You see, you already know how to stay.
Yeah, I really do.
Now let's go into one final moment, a real emotional one. You're in a conversation, people are talking, laughing, you join, you speak, and for a second, no one responds.
That moment.
Yes, that moment. Before, you would disappear.
Yeah, I would stop immediately.
But now,
Now, I stay. Maybe I add one more sentence. Maybe I explain a little more, but I don't leave.
that is your new habit. Not perfect speaking, staying.
It feels strong, but also peaceful.
That's real confidence. Not loud, not aggressive, just present.
I like that version of confidence.
Me too. And remember something important. People are not looking for perfect English. They're looking for connection.
Yeah, I feel that now.
When you share something real, even a simple thought, people can feel it.
So it's okay to be simple?
It's more than okay. Simple is clear. Simple is human.
I think before I was trying to sound advanced.
And that created pressure.
Yes. Now I just want to sound real.
And that's why you will improve faster, because you are practicing honestly.